Hello, everybody. This is Deb Coviello from Live Talk Media, and you are seeing me live from my basement. And this is real. I did have a virtual background before coming in here, but in real life, I have been banished to my basement. And the reason for that is, my husband Dan. You'll hear a lot about him on these episodes, but he has been kind and gracious to contract people to do hardwood floors in our upstairs hallway, my beautiful office that you normally see me speak from, as well as carpeting in all of the upstairs bedrooms. So in the process, my life is a little bit disrupted, and that is going to be the theme for today. And again, unfortunately, this is really our basement, so please don't judge. I'm sure other people have a basement like this, and I've got to talk to StreamYard about why the virtual background did not show up as expected. Life happens. Life comes at you, and I think that is today's theme. But let's get a little bit into disruptions, because I think there's something that we can learn for businesses. And I'm going to keep giggling throughout this thing because it is what it is. So my husband told us this week we're going to have construction workers working at our house, and my daughter and I simply knew about it. But I was away this weekend at a bonspiel. That's a curling tournament, and I came home, and my daughter kind of knew about it, but we just said, okay, it's happening. What we didn't realize was Monday morning, the contractors came and they started tearing everything up at 8 a.m. and all the way to 6 p.m. And it was so loud, the sawing and the banging, there was no place to hide. So I canceled all my meetings. I thanked everybody for being highly flexible, because there was just no quiet place in the house to actually do an interview. And oh my goodness, my poor daughter was actually house sitting this weekend, and she comes home Monday morning and is seeing the mess. And then we say, oh, and by the way, we're going to be doing carpeting in your room next week. And oh my God, talk about a stressed out young adult. Why didn't you tell me? I didn't expect this. I don't want people in my room. Mind you, she is a lovely person, but just like me, when we didn't get the memo of exactly what was going to happen and how it was going to happen, even though my husband communicated a lot to us, somewhere in the translation, myself and my daughter did not internalize the communication and what was the direct impact. Does this sound familiar to you? And so I ask leaders out there, this is where the lesson comes in. And again, for those of you who have joined late, yes, this is my real basement. Maybe it'll be a good virtual background. It's a good conversation piece. But when you think about cascading information and change management in the organization, don't we as leaders sometimes say, well, I sent you the PowerPoint, I gave you a video, I had an open town hall about this. Didn't everybody understand what the impact was? And we just assume. And so one of the things that I'm thinking about is that when we talk about change management and effective two-way communications, should we invest better in two-way understanding? Because it has a completely different impact on the people that are being subjected to the change. Now, fast forward. Oh my God, the floors look amazing. We feel wonderful after 2 days of dubious, very industrious construction workers who were very polite, and their service was excellent. I've now got gorgeous floors, but the process was highly disruptive. So my thoughts for you as a leader, first of all, don't assume. Do not assume, despite the best change management and PowerPoints and communication in town halls, are you going to connect with the minds and hearts of the people impacted. And so how do you avoid such a thing? And so from my perspective, it's not necessarily just preparing people for the actual event, but really you're trying to do risk management and avoid the conflict. I think it starts with well-placed questions such as, do you understand the impact of this change? Or ask if you can share back what you understand about this change. And conversely, I, as the impacted person to my husband, could have said, what should we expect? And what should we prepare? What should we be doing to prepare for the change? And so it's a two-way street. And so when I think about what actually happened. So there's myself and my daughter actually getting a little bit frumpy about, like, I had to change this and I had to cancel that. And we were just doing what young women do, being outwardly expressive. My husband later came back and he also shared that he was equally frustrated because I said he shared this news with us. And he was just trying to do good and ultimately make us happy and do this for the family. And I felt awful. And so I did go to him later on, and I also coached my daughter to share with him that we recognize the value that he was presenting. He's presenting to us a place, a home, an upgraded home for which we can all enjoy. And I appreciated that, and I think he accepted that. And I asked my daughter to say the same thing or something in her own way. So also when we are impacted by change, yes, there may be an emotional impact, but we also have to recognize that leaders, too, are trying to do the best that they can, and that we need to also reassure them that we believe in them, in their leadership and what they're trying to do, and have a conversation for understanding. And I think that's what the lesson here is. Don't expect that change management and effective communication is all that we need to do, but invest in two-way understanding so all parties can work together towards the common goal. And so that's my message for you. It was a little bit unscripted, but I was speaking from the heart. And again, I have my husband to thank for as well, because he actually set up my office down here in the basement to accommodate me and do everything I could to continue to reach out to you and connect with you. And so I'm forever indebted to him. And I also want you just to think about your situation. If there is somebody that you know, whether it's yourself or somebody on your team that struggles with effective communication, you might want to refer them to this episode, that it's really an investment in two-way understanding. We can cascade information, but until the message is ultimately received, internalized, and given the opportunity to ask questions, you can avoid conflict and the risk of maybe your cascaded communication being misinterpreted or perhaps even creating more conflict. So if you know somebody that can benefit from this conversation, please share it with them, because that's how we elevate the collective. We elevate the people around us. That's what the Drop-In CEO brand is all about. And also, again, a little bit of an ask. I love putting out this content to connect with you, make you think a little bit differently. But I'm also looking to meet other people, be able to speak on a greater stage, whether it's to you, to your team, a podcast. I'm here for you because I just want to see everybody succeed and struggle less and not be frustrated. So that's it today. Deb Coviello, Live Talk Media. Yeah, I am grateful that you've joined us again for the show. Catch this on my YouTube channel. It's no longer on my podcast, but just know I am always seeking feedback on how I can best place these opportunities so that you can consume them, enjoy them. So just want to say thank you again for joining me, and also share this with somebody that you think would value this as a resource. Deb Coviello signing off now, but again, thank you as always for your support, and I wish you well and much success, and be well.